I've seen plenty of entitled defendants pass through my courtroom, but nothing quite prepared me for the morning Alexandra Whitmore walked in, dressed in something that likely cost more than many people earn in half a year. It wasn't just confidence she carried. It was a sharp, almost arrogant smugness that set the tone before she even spoke. And when she did, her words came laced with such disregard and contempt that I knew immediately this case wouldn't be ordinary. What unfolded over the next 40 minutes didn't just decide a verdict, it reshaped her life and reinforced a simple truth. In my courtroom, wealth holds no weight. The case file itself was straightforward. Alexandra Whitmore, age 24, faced charges of reckless driving, leaving the scene of an accident, and obstruction of justice. She had slammed into a minivan at a red light, causing heavy damage. When the other driver stepped out to exchange details, Alexandra laughed, dismissed the vehicle as worthless, and drove off. The entire incident had been recorded clearly on traffic cameras. Legally, it was an open and shut situation. But there was more beneath the surface. Alexandra's father, Richard Whitmore, was the CEO of Whitmore Technologies, a man worth billions. The family name was stamped across charities, hospitals, and major buildings throughout the city. Alexandra clearly believed that influence extended into my courtroom. She arrived 20 minutes late. Not stylishly late, but disrespectfully so. Her attorney hurried in ahead of her, apologizing repeatedly. Alexandra followed at her own pace, as if entering a luxury spa instead of a court of law. Her heels echoed across the floor, each step demanding attention. She carried a designer bag, kept her sunglasses on, and wore a silk dress that looked custom-made. This wasn't appropriate attire. It was a statement. I let her reach her seat before speaking. "Miss Whitmore, thank you for joining us. I assume there's a valid reason for your delay." She removed her sunglasses slowly, as though the moment belonged to her. Traffic was bad. You know how it is. No apology, no acknowledgement of the court, just dismissal. Her attorney quickly stepped in to smooth things over, but I focused on her. I reminded her this wasn't a casual gathering and punctuality wasn't optional. She responded with a shrug. An actual shrug. The courtroom was packed, regular observers, a few reporters, and in the third row sat Maria Chen. She was the woman whose minivan Alexandra had destroyed, a hospice nurse who worked long shifts caring for the dying. That morning, she'd been driving her children to school when Alexandra hit her. She sat there now, still in her scrubs, watching this unfold. I reviewed the file again, letting silence stretch. It unsettles those who think they're in control. When I looked up, Alexandra was on her phone. "Put it away," I said. She hesitated, then complied with exaggerated annoyance. Her attorney tried to move things along, mentioning another commitment she had later that day. I made it clear. This wasn't something to squeeze between appointments. She would remain until the court was finished. Then Alexandra spoke again, dismissively calling the incident ridiculous. "Just a minor accident," she said. "Insurance would handle it." But it wasn't minor. Maria's vehicle was destroyed. Her children were terrified. She'd missed work dealing with the aftermath. Yet Alexandra reduced it all to nothing. I pulled up the traffic footage. The room fell silent as the video played. Her car striking the minivan, Maria stepping out shaken, checking on her children, Alexandra exiting, glancing at the damage, muttering something dismissive, then driving away. When it ended, Alexandra's face remained unchanged. I asked if she remembered what she said that day. She brushed it off. When reminded, she smirked and doubled down, implying the other car wasn't worth much anyway. Gasps filled the room. Even her own attorney couldn't hide his frustration. I stood. That alone shifted the atmosphere. I asked her to reflect on her words, how she could watch footage of herself fleeing responsibility and still respond with insult. She tried to justify it, explaining her car was better, as if that somehow minimized her actions. It was a logic so detached from reality that it spoke volumes. As questioning continued, her attitude didn't improve. She blamed circumstances, minimized the children's fear, even suggested their mother exaggerated their reaction. The courtroom reacted strongly, and it took effort to restore order. I had seen many defendants over the years, some remorseful, some defiant. But Alexandra represented something else entirely, a person so shielded by privilege that consequences felt unreal. We moved through the facts. After leaving the scene, she went about her day. Lunch, golf, normal activities. She didn't report the incident for days. Meanwhile, Maria struggled to manage work, transportation, and her children's lives. Her driving record showed a pattern: multiple violations, reduced penalties, a history of avoiding full accountability. And then came the statement that revealed everything. She believed the case would be dismissed because of her family's influence. I made it clear. None of that mattered here. For the first time, her confidence faltered. Before sentencing, I read Maria's statement. It described the fear, the confusion, the impact on her children. The silence in the room deepened as her words settled in. When I finished, I looked at Alexandra and told her plainly. That was who she had been in that moment. Someone who chose convenience over compassion. Then came the verdict. Guilty, the sentence followed. Jail time, license suspension, community service, restitution, and mandatory participation in victim impact programs. It wasn't about punishment alone. It was about breaking a pattern. Her reaction shifted from defiance to shock. Reality had finally set in as she was taken into custody. She turned to her father, desperate. He stood, paused, and simply told her she had brought this upon herself. Maria spoke afterward, expressing not anger, but the need for her children to see fairness, to know that rules apply equally to everyone. In the months that followed, I received updates. Alexandra served her time. At first she struggled, but gradually something changed. Through her community service, she interacted with Maria and over time began to listen to understand. Eventually, she chose to continue helping. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Months later, she returned not as a defendant, but to express gratitude. She admitted she had been wrong, that the experience forced her to confront who she had become. I told her the truth. Change only happens when someone accepts responsibility. Maria's children began to heal. Their lives stabilized. And Alexandra found a new direction, one grounded in purpose rather than privilege. That is what justice looks like. Not revenge, but transformation. Not favoritism, but fairness. A reminder that actions carry consequences, and accountability, however difficult, is what ultimately shapes who we become.